Morning, everyone. Yesterday was a lot of fun. Thank you for understanding. And yesterday, Justin Trudeau apologized for his obnoxious, rude, ridiculous behavior. He let the mask slip when he made fun of and ridiculed and then removed the protester and then her support, her friend, asking, what if it was your family? There was lots of security and they were ready to move. And Justin Trudeau, on a mic, said, "Thanks for your donation. Ha ha ha." And a whole bunch of liberal elites erupted in applause. Yay! Good job. You really got that protester. Well done, you rich leader of a country. Good job shutting her down and then mocking her as she was dragged away by your security. So that's the Trudeau that we actually have in leadership, not the contrite feminist that he pushes as his public image, because that's not who he is. That's not who he is. He's somebody who's beyond apologizing to the little people, right? He's apologizing because he's a politician and he has to. And somebody said, "Dude, I can't believe you did this. This is an election year, man, and you're not ahead. What are you doing?" Right? So, anyway, here's the news article from CTV. Quote, "I lacked respect. PM Trudeau apologizes for response to protester." During a media scrum in Halifax on Thursday morning, Trudeau said he has always tried to be respectful and to engage with protesters in a positive way, but admitted he didn't do that the night before. "Last night, I lacked respect towards them, and I apologize for that," he said. On Wednesday night, hecklers at a fundraiser organized by the Laurier Club that requires a minimum contribution of $1,500 to join called out Trudeau's handling of mercury poisoning on the Grassy Narrows First Nation. In response, he thanked them for contributing to his party's coffers. Quote, "Thank you very much for your donation tonight. I really appreciate the donation to the Liberal Party of Canada," Trudeau said to cheers from the crowd. Trudeau said Thursday he plans to refund the protesters' donations. Quote, "Obviously, we will be fully refunding the contributions made by those individuals last night," he told reporters. "They wanted to express their concerns about an issue, and I do take that seriously." A Twitter account that appeared to be run by the protesters posted a video of the interaction and accused Trudeau of, quote, "failing to help Grassy Narrows." The account also reacted to Trudeau's comments, tweeting, "Smugger words have never been said." And I want to pause here, and this statement, the "obviously we will be fully refunding the contributions made by those individuals last night. They wanted to express their concerns about an issue, and I do take that seriously." That's the public face Trudeau wants to project. That's the guy we think that he is. But when I said the mask slipped, we saw the real guy when he was surrounded by his yes men and supporters, right? Yes, clap, clap, clap when you really shut down that First Nations person who was trying to express concern about mercury poisoning, and we'll get there. But when you let that mask slip and it's on tape, that's bad, right? And then you have to say, "Oh yeah, I made a mistake there," because he did make a mistake there. And there are ways that you could have dealt with that, and the article talks about that, so I'll get there in just a minute. But I wanted to point that out. That's the difference between Trudeau when he's surrounded by acolytes and yes men, and that's most of our government, as we'll see. We've got a clip of Miss Freeland at the end of today's show that's quite eye-opening, really. But when he's surrounded by these people who enable him and empower him, then he's going to be that guy on the stage who's cavalier and being rude, dismissive, and using his power and his security to shut anybody up who disagrees with him. And he looks around for support, and the smiling faces of yes men clapping away. Right? That's our Liberal Party. That's who's in charge. I want you to know that. That's it. That's what this election's about. Do you want this fake feminist to continue to run Canada? Because that's what we're getting. Okay, back to the article. Judy De Silva, the environmental health coordinator for the Grassy Narrows First Nation, called the remark callous. Quote, "He could have treated us in a humane way," and asked the lady, "No, I want to hear her. Bring her back. I want to hear her question." He could have said that, but instead, he just made fun of her, De Silva said in an interview with host Glenn McGregor on CTV's Power Play Thursday. Quote, "I don't feel that the word reconcile should exist anymore." I scroll down. The community, which sits near Ontario's border with Manitoba, has been struggling with the effects of a chemical plant dumping waste mercury into its local river in the 1960s and 1970s. Mercury poisoning can result in impaired cognitive function and issues with speech, vision, and hearing. It also causes weakness in the muscles as well as numbness and tingling in the mouth and extremities. With prolonged exposure, the damage can become irreversible. Grassy Narrows residents have been pushing the government to move forward on its pledge to build a treatment center in the community for those suffering from the mercury poisoning. Then Indigenous Service Minister Jane Philpott made the pledge in late 2017, but the community is still waiting for a dedicated treatment center. So this has been a long-standing problem that Trudeau would have known about as a child, never mind as the current prime minister. And he's that cavalier and dismissive about it. And it's a serious problem. Mercury poisoning is no joke. It's nothing to laugh about, right? Unless you're Justin Trudeau on a stage making fun of a protester who spent $1,500 to get in there and give him a piece of her mind. A Canadian citizen, a First Nations Indigenous Canadian citizen, somebody that Trudeau himself holds above all others. And yet, how did he handle that? I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, it's like going out to dinner with somebody, right? And they treat the waiter like they're nothing. I didn't know you were like that. Oh, I get it now. Mr. Trudeau, your mask slipped. We get it now. Whoops. So, my next story is Alberta. You guys have an election coming up. And, well, I think you're going to be disappointed in this story. I am disappointed in this story because I'm worried they're going to do this nationally. This is a dry run of a system they want to roll out nationally, I'm sure. And I can't wait to find out that we have to wait 4 months to find out who the winner of the election is. CBC News reporting, new voting format delay official results in Alberta provincial election. Alberta's provincial election is set to take place April 16, and new advanced polling measures mean the early results may not be accurate. Unofficial results are normally released on election night, but the final call on who will govern the province won't come until April 26th. A spokesperson from Elections Alberta said. The delay comes with a, quote, vote from anywhere ballots, which allows Albertans to cast their ballots in advance at any polling station in the province in the upcoming provincial election. We are not starting this count until 1 p.m. the following day. You're guaranteed not to have results from any vote anywhere ballots on election night. It will come days later, says Pamela Renwick, Director of Operations and Communications at Elections Alberta. These votes have to be brought back to the Elections Alberta Edmonton warehouse to be counted. If there's a tight race, those uncounted ballots could skew unofficial results by a large margin. Quote, if you've won the race by 100 ballots, but we have 1,000 ballots here to count from that electoral division, there would be no way to know on election night who won that race, Renwick said. The Election Alberta website is being overwhelmed by the high number of people trying to register to vote, with some people receiving error messages and left unable to register on Tuesday. Quote, we're doing our best to increase the servers to be able to handle the volume. Yesterday was the busiest day we have ever had, Renwick said. On Monday, there were 9,000 registrations, she said. A 5-hour drive. Some who registered to vote online have been told they're facing a hefty commute to get to their polling station. Krista Bernier, who lives in Bonnyville, northeast of Edmonton, said that when she tried to register to vote on the website, she was told her electoral district is in Brooks Medicine Hat, around a 5-hour drive from her home. She said her husband and others in Bonnyville got the same message. Renwick said it might be due to new electoral boundaries. Quote, they will absolutely be registered to vote in the correct electoral division. We can look into that to make sure that it's not popping up on the website, Renwick said. So, it looks like not only are they incentivizing voting by saying, you've got a lovely country drive, but you get to wait 10 days, according to Elections Canada or Elections Alberta, April 26th, when the vote is on the 16th. Is that okay? I don't know who to call. I don't have numbers for anybody who to call here, but call your MPP. Call your MPP and tell them that this is not acceptable. This is incredibly unacceptable. 10 days from election and you still don't know? And they're sending all of the ballots to a central warehouse in Alberta? Do you think, who's running that warehouse? How many extra people, what's the security like in that warehouse? We're just going to bring all of the ballots here and we're not going to move them around. Everything's going to be above board. Who trusts this NDP government? Who trusts this Liberal government? Holy cow. 2 more stories today, everyone. Yahoo News is reporting Brampton to make history with new schools named after Private Buckham Singh and Malala Yousafzai. I think that's how you say it. Yousafzai? I can't remember. Anyway, 2 new Brampton elementary schools will make history as the first in Canada to be named in honor of a pair of heroic figures, one born in India and the other in Pakistan. The Peel District School Board has announced it will name a pair of schools in the region after Sikh Canadian soldier Private Buckham Singh and Nobel Peace Prize laureate Malala Yousafzai. I'm going with that for now. Unlike Yousafzai, who became a household name after being shot by members of the Taliban while on her way to school in 2012 and subsequently became the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, Singh's contributions weren't widely known until about 100 years after his service. Singh was first Singh was the first Sikh man to enlist in the Canadian Army during the First World War. He moved to Canada in 1907 at age 14 when the Canadian government resisted South Asian immigration. But because of a labor shortage, British Columbia accepted Sikh laborers. Singh endured forced separation from his family because of the restrictive policies. I'm going to pause here. Forced separation. Did Canada go to India and say, Mr. Buckham Singh, come with us? And he said, no, please, I'd like to stay with my family. And they said, no, sir, you're coming to Canada, and then eventually you're going to go to the First World War, but we need laborers in BC. Forced separation is that, right? Forced separation is not immigrating to Canada to become a laborer in British Columbia because they needed laborers. That's a choice. He made a choice. It was his choice to make. And that is the beauty of being able to make a choice as an individual. He chose to come to Canada without his family. And there are a lot of people who have done that historically. My mom is one of them. So this whole idea of this victimhood applied 100 years, more than 100 years after this person immigrated to Canada under vastly different circumstances. Don't paint him with this victimhood brush, just like you paint everybody with a victimhood brush. It's just offensive. It's offensive. Okay, I scroll down. So he has not endured forced separation from his family. He did not do that. That is not something that happened. I scroll down. Yosefi, an honorary Canadian citizen since 2017, began speaking about the right to education at age 11, inspired in part by her father's humanitarian work. She survived an assassination attempt at 15 years of age and quickly became a prominent activist focusing largely on girls. However, here is a tweet from the other day, March 25th, and it says, Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai blocks Twitter user for asking justice for Hindu girls. The abduction and forced religious conversion of 2 Hindu girls in Pakistan's Singh has become a matter of international concern, with minority rights constantly decaying in the subcontinental nation. However, Pakistan's Nobel Peace Prize holder, Malala Yousafzai, is apparently not interested at all in speaking up about the matter, let alone condemning. An Indian Twitter user who goes by the name Krishna asked Nobel laureate Malala about her views on the forced conversion incident and asked for her support to ensure justice for the victims. At Malala, 2 Hindu girls of your age were kidnapped from their home, were molested and forcefully converted to your religion, Islam. The world should know about this barbaric act by Islamists. Please retweet in support of those 2 poor Hindu girls. Thank you, he asked. However, instead of giving any replies to the tweet or retweeting it, Malala, very surprisingly, blocked the Twitter user. There you go. And I saw this on the first run, like I saw this on the 25th, but it didn't really fit. And it was just one of those things. But I think that it's an interesting comment by, or non-comment by somebody who we're naming a school after. The rest of it, I mean, it's such a strange thing. We've got a park in Winnipeg named after the founder of Pakistan. And if you know any history about the founder of Pakistan, then, well, so the founder of Pakistan created Pakistan. His name is Jinnah, and he created Pakistan through a bombing campaign. He threatened Mahatma Gandhi in 1946, if you don't give us our own land, we'll bomb you into submission. And he said no. And then in 1948 or 1949, he relented. And actually, I think it was 1947 was the bombing, 48 they relented, whatever. And then Jinnah died. But we have a park in Winnipeg named after Mr. Jinnah. And that's very strange. And naming schools after Malala, an honorary Canadian citizen, okay, sure, I guess. But it seems really strange. It seems really odd to me. The last story today is Miss Freeland, formerly renegotiating NAFTA fame and other highlights of her Canadian political career include that purple dress. Just that purple dress is the only other highlight of her Canadian political career. However, here she is on Bill Maher in a memory hold interview where her and Bill Maher and the panel are discussing Muslims, and she keeps saying, you can't vilify Islam, and Bill Maher keeps saying, I'm not vilifying Islam, I'm giving you facts about locations in the world. And it's really strange. The link is in the description. You should watch the whole thing. It's only like 4 minutes. But here are 2 of the highlights.
5 people in the country that you're holding up as the moderate country believes if a woman is raped, we blame and kill her.
Okay.
And the problem with Islam is
you spend most of your show pointing out the dumbness of Americans. You know, if you look at opinion polls.
It's a little different than...
So that's one, like he said, 1 in 5 people think it's okay to kill the woman if she's raped in Indonesia. That's the moderate country Miss Freeland was holding up as her proof or something to that effect. And she's getting very upset. And hold on, I'll get to the next clip. Sorry, I'm going to play the audio one more time of Miss Freeland saying dumbness of Americans. I didn't let it finish, and Bill kind of makes the point, but here it is again. I apologize.
So the challenge is, you spend most of your show pointing out the dumbness of Americans. You know, if you look at opinion
dumbness
polls,
is a little different than...
No, seriously. I mean, it is very, very wrong to demonize a religion.
I'm not demonizing. I'm just reporting. You are making it a demonization.
But the challenge is, how do you...
So the whole discussion is interesting, because anytime he brings up a point, he said, like, the 1 in 5 people believe that this is okay. They were talking about who agrees with ISIS, etc. And she says, you're demonizing. And he says, no, I'm reporting facts. I don't often agree with Bill Maher. Very, very rarely do I agree with Bill Maher, but I just found this interview really, really crazy. And I'll get to the next clip. Hold on. Okay, and here's another 15 or so second clip.
But think about
and you don't do it by saying to them Muslims are bad.
But you're not saying Muslims are bad.
Right.
You are saying that.
We're saying the ideas need to be changed.
You're
and
saying
by the
their
way,
ideas are bad?
killing women for being raped, I would say, is a bad idea.
Checkmate, Sergey.
Right. And I mean, it's Bill Maher kind of got her in that corner. She got herself in that corner. But she was not armed in this conflict at all. Like, she was lost a couple of times. But watch the whole video. Respond in the comments. I'm interested. This woman is part of the PM's inner circle. This is what this government believes. Crazy, right? Like, this is crazy. Post-nation state indeed. Okay, thank you for watching, everybody. Check out the peoplespartyofcanada.ca, and thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.